A lot of things that I'm going through are something that I could have avoided in my life, but I am here. I've always been a person that I was so sure that I didn't want to have children out of wedlock. Hi boss babes, welcome and welcome back to my channel. So I'm just gonna give you a little bit of a backstory so that you can know what is happening, like so that you can know how I got to this part and this point in my life. So yeah, I'm currently going through a breakup and it's not easy. It's been very difficult. I think I'm like one day in because this just happened yesterday. So yeah. And speaking of this breakup, this person that I just recently broke up with is the father of my daughter, my 5-month-old daughter, Athena. So yeah, tough pill to swallow at the moment, but we are here. I'm here now. There's nothing I can do but move ahead. So yeah, just to give you a little backstory of where it all began, how it all started, and how I got where I am today, being a single mom of 2 by 2 baby daddies. Yeah. Okay. So in 2019, around March, I was a single mom of 1. My daughter was 1 year, 3 months, and I decided to go to Dubai to look for a job. I left my daughter with my mom. So I went to Dubai and I stayed in Dubai 2019 until 2022 when I reached. I just recently returned last year, and when I returned, I was pregnant. So I met the father of my child, Athena, in 2021 in November. Yeah, so we met in November, and we had an on and off thing going on, like, yeah, leading up to a point where we ended up being in a committed relationship with each other, to a point where we actually ended up staying together. Everything happened very quickly and within a short span of time. In March 2022, I think, yes, I found out that I was pregnant. And yeah, when I found out that I was pregnant, I was so disappointed with myself. I was angry, frustrated. I even cried because I had told myself that I'm never gonna have another baby out of wedlock. I had told myself that if I'm ever to have a baby, because I grew up the only child to my mom and I've always wanted to give my daughter siblings, I've never wanted her to be alone because I know how it feels like not having any siblings. So I had told myself that I'm going to give my daughter siblings one day in life, but it has to be under the conditions of me being married or me being financially stable. So I had told myself that in my 30s, I might possibly start considering having another baby, being that I am financially stable, because I do not want to go through what I went through with her, meaning I do not want to be in a position whereby financially I am not able to take care of her, like I'm struggling financially, and also I'm not married, because I didn't want to do it alone again. And I communicated this with my partner, the father of my child, Athena's dad. I told him that when we found out that I'm pregnant, and I told him that I don't want to do this alone. And he assured me and he told me that you are not going to do it alone. I'm going to be there. So when I met him, when we had conversations way before we even decided to be in a relationship, what actually made me raise my eyebrows and actually consider possibly like wanting to be with someone like him was the kind of words he said when we were just having a random conversation. He told me that at his age, he doesn't have a child yet, and the reason why he doesn't is because he told himself that if he's ever going to have a child, he does not have any reason to not raise that child, does not have any reason to not be part of that child's life, because he also grew up in a household that has both parents, and he doesn't see any reason to put his child through anything else different. So when he said such words, I was like, this is the kind of person I would want to be with, because I would definitely want to be with a person that if I am ever gonna have children with that person, whether it is in marriage, that person will be like, if we ever get up to a point whereby we are facing any problems, that person will be like, I'm going to fight for this, we are going to fight this, we are going to be together because we have a child to raise, we are not going to walk away from each other. So that is the kind of perspective I got from him. That is the kind of mindset I got from him when I was communicating with him at that point. So I already had a picture in my mind that this is the kind of person that I would want to be with, because I was like, he would definitely take responsible. Not that the pregnancy was planned, not that I chose to have a baby because I thought this way. I had a baby because up to today, when it happened, I blamed myself that how could I be so careless? Because as much as I had told myself that everything happened fast with this person, we hardly knew each other that much. I found myself pregnant, I think, within 6 months of being together with this person. And within that 6 months, he gave me a promise ring and he told me that he's promising me that he is never going to leave us. He's never going to leave me and the baby. He's going to be there. We are going to get through. At that point, we started facing some sort of financial difficulties. So yeah, we started facing some sort of financial difficulties because I was not earning much where I was working. So prior to me finding out that I was pregnant, I had already made a decision that I'm going to move back home, because I felt like I wasn't earning much and I had spent so much time trying to look for another job and I was not getting. So I had other plans to come back home and be with my daughter and maybe try and pursue other things. So it was not, me falling pregnant was not really the reason why I decided to move back. I had plans to move back to South Africa way before. So now what happens in this case is I found out that I'm pregnant and I was like now contemplating that maybe I should not quit my job. I should just stay working and maybe try bring over Mbali to visit me, because I hadn't seen her in like almost 3 years. So I was like, I need to continue working so that at least me and the father of my child, we can be together and like we can raise the baby together and then we figure things out together. So at that point, he also started facing difficulties in his job, to a point whereby in that month that we found out that we're having a baby, he didn't get paid that month, and then the months coming on, so he ended up not like, let me say, losing his job in a way. Like, I'll just put it like that, not to get too much into details of what really happened. So now he's not working. Me, on the other hand, I'm not earning much, and we were staying together. So at that point, what the first instinct, what came to mind, like the first instinct was just like, okay, you need to move back home, I need to go back home, considering the fact that we have a baby and whole big responsibility coming into our lives that needs to be taken care of. It's very way too expensive raising a baby in Dubai. So now come to think that he's not working at that point, I'm earning less, and I guess I just needed like peace of mind at that point. I just needed to be home and just needed to clear my head on so many things. So we took a decision that, okay, I'll move back. Okay, so we took a conscious decision that I'll move back home and he will stay back in Dubai, look for a job. Once he gets a job with a stable income, we'll work towards bringing me and our daughter back over to Dubai, so that we can at least be able to raise her under one roof. And obviously, with that, we also had plans to get married so that we can be able to stay together, if he gets a job that has benefits, and I can also be able to be on the benefits with the baby as well. So yeah, that was the plan, that was the initial plan, that we are going to do this together. The plan was not for me to do it alone. So yeah, I came back home and things were good, we're communicating up until it got to a point whereby communication was just becoming more and more difficult. I would get excuses after excuses, apologies after apologies, because of communication. The main issue was communication. all the other issues that we ever had were not really that much of a big deal. What got to me so much was the communication part, because mind you, I'm pregnant, I need the moral support. I would go to doctor's checkups. Of course, I was doing it alone, like physically, because he was not there. But for me, my thing was like, you can't be there physically, but at least be there virtually, like at least communicate with me, So yeah, things were shaky in that way. And for most part of it, I felt so alone. I felt alone, and it was just a cycle, because sometimes we would go for days, 2 days without talking. When he does come back and I confront him about it, he would apologize and then still slip back to those same patterns and same routines. And yeah, it was challenging. Finally gave birth, and he gets a job early this year in January, and things get kind of shaky as well. I start getting excuses of, I'm too busy at work, I cannot communicate, and things like that, to a point whereby, leading up to a point where we are today, I could say it has been a month since he has done any video calling towards me and the baby. So, and there was a point in the period before we got to this point where we are, there was a point whereby I was now getting the silent treatment, whereby I would text, and not get any communication back. Okay, so this video, I don't want to focus it more on the things that he did or what I did, who said what, who did what. The main thing is me reaching to a point where we are today. The things that I've been seeing on social media, the actions, the words, and all that. Yesterday, I would always get so angry and send him text of breakups and all that, but he would still come back, and as if everything is okay, would still go on, just holding on to that hope of saying, okay, things will be good, things will get better. I don't want to do this. My main thing was like, I don't want to do this alone again. That's my fear, even up to today. That's my greatest fear. But now I am here, I'm in this position, I'm in this situation, and I really need to make the most out of it. I need to pick myself up. I need to be strong for my two girls. So yeah, it has been a roller coaster of emotions. So yesterday, I finally get like kind of like a final breakup message, and this one, I know this is it. And I know from my side, I keep on trying to like, maybe trying to talk to him, trying to make him see what this is gonna put all of us in a difficult position, more especially him, trying to make him see what he's actually losing, because you are losing an opportunity to be part of your life, your child's life fully. Yes, you might be there financially, you might say, I'm going to provide, you might say, I'll be seeing her, maybe considering the fact that he stays in UAE, I'm in South Africa. This could only mean the chances are for him to be seeing her once in a year. So me trying to make him see all those things. The father of my child is originally from Uganda. I'm originally from Zimbabwe, currently residing in South Africa. He's currently residing in the UAE. So trying to make him see that with the distance, it is going to be very difficult. And I feel so sad that I blame myself and feel sad that I have to put a human being through such, because knowing that I have this child and this child cannot be in the same country as his father, as her father. Yeah, there's just a lot. Like, when I think about my situation, there's just a lot that I'm like, dang, this is crazy. Like, this is crazy. How did I get myself into this? How did I find myself in this position that I am in? Like, I feel so guilty. There are moments when I am feeling really sad about this whole situation and everything that has been going on, and I'm just like, when I initially found out that I was pregnant, not that I support abortion, but it did come to mind because I was like, I'm not married, I'm not financially stable. I do not have any assurance of this is gonna work out. But today, when I look at my daughter, I'm just like, I'm grateful I didn't really take that decision to actually abort. And the thing that actually made me not to actually go with the plan, even if I didn't really plan or think about it, was the fact that the father of my child was like, I want this. I don't know about you, but I really want this, and we are going to do this. So when he said those words, I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep the baby. I'm not gonna do anything because I know he's gonna be there. We are going to do this. We are going to do it as a family. And that was something that I was like, at least I didn't get it right the first time. Can I at least get it right with this one? These are baby girls, and you know what they say about daughters needing their fathers the most. And I feel so guilty that I couldn't give both my children this. I couldn't give Bali this. I can't give Athena this. And I really do blame myself. Like, as much as I blame him for not wanting to step up, not wanting to be selfless, because right now he's just taking a selfish decision. He's not being selfless. I also blame myself for being so irresponsible. I blame myself for putting myself in this kind of same situation and same position again. But in me blaming myself, I still want to find strength to stand up, dust myself, and keep on moving. Because right now I'm here. I cannot change anything. I can't put back anything back. I appreciate God so much for my daughters. Both of them, they're so beautiful and bright. I look at my daughter Athena, and she's just a breath of fresh air. Like, she's everything. And I'm just like, yeah, I might be going through this. This must be difficult. This might be tough. But when I look at it, I'm just like, thank you, God. You know, I never wanted to be in this position. But now that I'm in here, there's no other way than for me to actually move forward. There's no other way than for me to actually be strong. As much as I might want to say, I want to fight for this relationship, I'm going to fight for us to be together. But at the end of the day, I want to be happy. At the end of the day, I want to be in a relationship that has love. And as much as I wanted to give both my kids a two-parent household, and I'm in a position right now that I couldn't give it to them, there's nothing I can do about it. This is my path. This is my journey. I'm going to be a single mom of two for now. And I... I find it difficult to accept it. Like, there's one thing about going through a breakup, right? But then there's another thing about going through a breakup when there are kids involved, when there is a child involved. It's just a whole other thing. And often when some of my friends tell me that they are going through breakups and whatever, I'm always like, at least you don't have a child with your ex. Like, if you don't have a child with your ex, sis, you are far much more better than when you have a child with someone and you have to let go of that. And with the narrative that I had created and made up in my mind of us being a family, raising it under one household, making it like trying to build together, and having to now wire myself up and change that narrative, and now standing and saying, okay, now I'm alone. Now I'm gonna have to do certain things alone. Now I'm gonna have to go through with the plans that we had together alone because I don't have a choice. I'm a mother. When I boarded on a plane to come back to South Africa and I left him in Dubai, at the back of my head I told myself that two things can come out of this. I could either end up being a single mom, or we could actually make this work as we had planned. But I had told myself that either way, I need to deal with whatever comes my way. Either way, the minute you fall pregnant as a woman, if you're not married, you need to be prepared already for an outcome of potentially becoming a single parent, because there is no commitment guaranteed there. And yes, also marriage does not guarantee that you are not going to be a single parent, but I think it's always far much more better when you're married than when you're not married. So I got home and my mom told me the same thing also. She was like, you might find yourself in a position whereby you're going to end up being a single parent again, but just prepare yourself, prepare your mind for if it ever gets to that point. Prepare yourself. And yes, I had so much time to prepare myself because of the way things were happening, the communication and all that. But I just chose to believe the other side. I chose to have hope. And yeah, me being in this position that I'm in right now, I know it's for the best. As much as I wanted to give them a household that has a mother and a father, but I also want to be happy. I want to be loved. I want to be appreciated. There are so many things that have been happening in this relationship that has made me feel not wanted, not appreciated. And I am ready to just stand up and start the healing process and heal completely so that I can be able to be there, to be the best version and the healed version for myself and for my kids, because I cannot raise them properly if I'm not healed. Yesterday, I was not myself at all. Today, the fact that I could even pick up the camera and talk like this means that I'm better and the healing process has started. I was not myself at all yesterday. I couldn't do anything for my kids. Like, I had help from a family member, and yeah, I don't want to be in that state. I don't want to stay in that state for long. I want to heal completely and chase my goals. If you know me, you already know that I've always been a person who is like chasing goals. I've never, so now my main focus is going to be obviously on chasing my goals. And I thank God that at this point, I'm not just sitting doing nothing. I'm currently studying to better myself so that I can actually better myself, become the best version of myself, and also for my kids, and potentially look for other opportunities, because I do not plan on settling here in South Africa with my kids. I plan on settling in another country. So I'm working towards those goals now on my own. And so my focus is going to be obviously on my channel. I want to see growth on my YouTube channel. I'm going to focus on my business. There's a businesses that I do with my mom. I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on my studies. I'm going to focus on self-care, loving myself again fully, accepting my flaws, forgiving myself, and picking myself up pieces, because I have, as much as I have so much healing to do, I also have so much healing. Like, I have to forgive myself as well, because I really do blame myself for a lot of things. A lot of things that I'm going through are something that I could have avoided in my life, but I am here. I've always been a person that I was so sure that I didn't want to have children out of wedlock. I was so sure that I wanted to do things the right way, but I find myself in this position and I'm like, I never thought this could be me. I never thought this could be my story, but yes, today it is my story. I have to embrace it fully. I have to love myself fully with my flaws and all. I have to love my daughters fully, no matter the circumstances, no matter how they came about. I have to love them fully and be present for them and just work towards having a better life for both me and them. So yeah, that is going to be my main focus now. And as I start the healing process, I'm not healed yet. But as they say, as cliche as this might sound, it gets better with time. It certainly does get better with time. I've been through this kind of situation before, and best believe it did get better with time. I healed completely from that, and I know I'm going to heal from this also. I know one day I'm also mainly making this video so that one day I can just look back, a healed version of myself can look back and see myself while I was going through this, and actually see myself conquer and become fully healed from all this. So yeah. And also I love reading messages from other women. Like when I scroll on TikTok or go on YouTube, I find that I'm not the only one who's going through this. I read messages from comments from other women who are going through the same thing. So if this video can bring and attract other women who are also going through the same thing that I'm currently going through, I wouldn't mind reading your comments in the comment section. I wouldn't mind going through this healing journey and healing process with y'all. Let's do this. Like, we can do this. We can come out of this. On the other side of our fear is always strength and courage, is always greater things. Right now, my biggest fear was doing it alone. And every day I'm reminded that I'm doing it alone. Every day when I'm with my baby and she's crying and I'm facing some challenges with her, and I look at her and I'm like, dang, I can't believe I'm doing this alone again. Like, I went through the same thing with Bali and I can't believe I put myself through this again, because it's not necessarily, the blame is not necessarily only on the guy. I did it to myself as well. I allowed myself to be careless and vulnerable to a point whereby I have to put myself through this. And I'm so grateful for the help that I get from my mom, because I do not know how I would have done it without her. And also, as much as I'm also grateful, I feel so guilty sometimes that I'm putting my mom through this. Like, I never wanted to be that person who's like home with kids, not married, and having my mom playing the role that a partner, a husband is supposed to be playing, having my mom playing that role, having my mom being that man, like having my mom being, putting her in a position whereby she has to be there for us financially, putting her in this same position whereby I have to break down. I broke down. I got broken with Bali. I got broken with Bali, and the burden was on my mom. I have daughters. I had to go through this with my first, and like I said, I also have daughters, and one day I wouldn't want to see them in this kind of a pain. So I cannot begin to imagine how my mom feels when she sees me going through this, and I've been through this before. So yeah, I just know that one day I'm going to look back and understand why things had to go the way that they're going right now. And I know that God has greater plans for me ahead, me and my girls, of course. And yeah, I didn't want to come out here and be weak and break down like this. I really just wanted to come out here and just be strong and say, we can do this. I can do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to come out of this stronger. I'm going to, yeah, focus now. The focus is on myself, of course, because I need to be a healed version, like I said. I think there's nothing much I can say from here. And I actually did not make this video so that y'all can be feeling sorry for myself. No. Like I said, this is just for me to look back one day and say, I used to be that person. I used to be there, but now I'm here, because I do know that one day I'll get over all this and I'll be strong again. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning into today's video. I know I've never recorded this kind before, and it's gonna take so much courage for me to actually put this out there. Yeah.